Welcome friends. My name is Dr. Nitin Koekar and I deal with the course Professional Communication and Ethics Part 1. Friends, today we are going to discuss objectives in communication. As you know well, communication is nothing but the exchange of ideas, thoughts, feelings from one person to another, from one organization to another. As a human being, we have to communicate. If we want to develop our life, if we want to live our life satisfactorily, very happily, we have to use communication. And without communication, we don't have any other option. Hence, communication is known as lifeblood, as you know well. So friends, with the connection with this, let me move to the next point, that is objectives of communication. So today, you can see on the screen, there are certain objectives have been written. So we'll discuss one by one. Okay. So friends, the first one is information. Now why we should communicate? So to provide information is one of the very basic objectives of communication. Friends, in organization, whenever we have to join as an employee, we have to provide certain information, certain orientation to our new employees. As a management authority, we have to provide the guidance and the information to them. Whenever we have to create our customer base, as a seller or as a manufacturer, we should enlarge, we should extend our customer base. For the same, we have to provide the various kinds of information to our customers. For example, if we have the product and if we want to sell that product to in the market, so for the same, we should know what is the scenario which is going on in the market. We should know what are the needs of the customers, and accordingly, in which way our product is going to deal with that needs, is going to fulfill those needs, and accordingly, we should inform all those details to the customers. Then only they will come to know about our products and they will buy it. Or whatever, we have services, we have our own ideas which we want to sell to the customers, we should inform them well in advance regarding the same. So to inform others, that means to provide information, it is one of the very basic objectives of the communication. Okay, so let's move to the next second objective, order or instructions. Now friends, various times we use order and instructions, both the words with the similar meaning, but there is a great difference between order and instruction. To give order, that is another part. To give instruction, that is another part. Let me tell you the same with the example. So whenever the leader or whenever the higher authority provides the order, maybe in written, maybe in oral, that is without any instruction, just we are giving orders. Now in organizational setup, it has great importance to the order. Sometimes it is given in the written form, sometimes it is given in the oral form. To follow orders, that is the basic duty of us, and through following the orders, what we do all these day-to-day proceedings. Now what is the difference between order and instructions? Instruction is nothing but the extra information along with order. Suppose I want to make you to do particular work. So instead of giving only order, what I will prefer, I will give you, along with the order, I will give you certain instructions also. That means how to be done that work. Only telling or only asking to do that work, I will also give certain extra things, information to you or guidelines to you that how that work should be done, and that is nothing but the instructions. So friends, any higher authority should keep in his mind that instead of giving only orders, we should provide instructions, because through instructions we also provide the information, we also provide the guidelines, so that that work will be done very easily and that employee will be, he or she will be able to do that work in very efficiently. So that is one of the objectives of the communication, to provide order and to provide instructions. And I hope you have understood the difference between order and instructions. So let's have a third objective, that is education or training. Now we have to educate, we have to conduct educational things, we have to educate, we have to inform, we have to train our students, our employees. In organization, whenever you join as an employee, your employer will provide the trainings or orientation sessions, like you have taken the admission in the first year, in the first sem, and orientation program will be there for you. because what are the proceedings, what are the educational setup, what are the different departments, which are the different proceedings carried out. So all those information will be provided to the students because they should be aware about all those things. Hence, orientation session will be organized. Likewise, in company, in industry, whenever new employee will join, for him or her, such kind of orientation program will be organized. And that is nothing but to provide education, because we have to educate all the stakeholders, okay, about the procedures, about the policies, about the practices, and systems, customs of that company. So that is education and training. Now training is also one of the important aspects of human life. In organizational setup or in educational setup, we need training because periodical trainings will help us, will orient us that how to do new things. Because time to time, the technology is going to be changed, is going to be developed, and as a technical students, we should be able to get it. Okay, so for that, education and training helps a lot. So that is one of the important objectives of the communication. So friends, next is advice. Now, you are very much aware about the advice, that what is advice. Though we are educated, though we know all the systems, but we are not expert in each and every field. If we are engineers, so we might be, it is possible that we are expert in engineering field, but do we have the expertise of medical field? No. Do we have the expertise of financial field? No. Do we have expertise any other field? No, there are limitations because we will not be having such kind of expertise. So for that, what we'll do, we'll ask for expert, his advice. Suppose I want to fulfill, or I want to fill my tax, or I want to carry out my taxation works. So what I will do, as I am not the expert in the finance, so I will take the advice of the chartered accountant or any financial officer or any financial person or financial expert. So that is nothing but advice. Advice is always asked. Advice is always asked, and it has great importance. And to be asked the advice, that is also one of the honors. If someone comes to me and he or she asks me for an advice, it is my honor because I am the expertise and hence you are asking me. So it is honor of the person to whom that advice has been asked. But at the same time, it is also a great responsibility to provide advice because we have to provide correct and authentic advice. Okay, so that is also one of the objectives of the communication. Let's move to the next one. Now, with advice, I will connect the suggestion because sometimes advice and suggestion, both the concepts we use in a similar way, but there is a difference. Suggestion, advice is always asked, but suggestion is not that we have to provide spontaneously. In horizontal communication, you can provide suggestion. In upward communication also, subordinate people can suggest something to their coordinators. Okay, because that is not demanded, that is not asked. Spontaneously we are giving certain suggestions, certain things. Okay, so that is suggestion and advice is always asked. So this is the basic difference between suggestion and advice. Next is persuasion. Now persuasion is having it is skill-oriented objectives. I will have an example. I will explain the same with a neat example. Whenever you have to convince your customers, for example, you are sales executive and you want to sell one product. So suppose I want to sell this pen. So what are the qualities of this pen and how that pen is very much helpful to you. After using this pen, how your works will be fulfilled, will be carried out completely. That I have to convince you. If I will be able to convince you all these qualities and I will be able to sell that pen, that means the persuasion, the skill of convince. So you should convince others. So that is one of the important aspects of communication. Okay. Next is warning. Now friends, you know that in educational setup or in organization, various times it can be happen that the negligence in the duty or what we say, some people are there that they are not following their duties correctly. So in some extent, the action should be taken against them. It might be orally, it might be written warning, or it might be oral warning, because we should warn them time to time. Like we have to educate them, we have to provide training to them, but if they are not doing their work properly, we have to also warn them. So that is also nothing but one of the objectives of communication. It can be oral, it can be written. Now you know the term memo, which is known as memorandum. So memorandum can be given to them. Okay, that will be disciplinary action that will be taken against them. So we are going to notify, we are going to notice, provide notice to them that if you will not change your performance, strict action will be taken against you likewise. Okay, next is motivation. Now friends, as you know that we have seen training is important, education is important, warning is important if you are not doing your work well. Along with that, motivation is also important in the organization. Because now what is motivation? Motivation means not only the counseling, it can be the promotion. Those are doing very well work, they can be promoted. The hike in the salary, that will be also one of the parts of the motivation. Or to provide certain psychological motivations. Because those people, those are motivated, they can do their work in a very better way. And it has been proven that those are self-motivated people, self-motivated employees, they can do much better than others. And it is already proven. So we have to also motivate to our employees because that is the need and it is connected with the what we say productivity of the employees, productivity of the industry. Hence, motivation is one of the important aspects of human life and we have to do time to time. Okay. So in this way, we have covered these basic objectives. Along with that, there are certain other secondary objectives also, but today we'll have a discussion on the same. So friends, I hope you have understood something. So now let me know what you have understood. So one by one, you have to tell me what you have understood. Okay, so that I will come to know your.
Understand actual communication means what? Communication means exchange of ideas from one person to other person.
Yes.
Alfred Thomas said that a meaningful message sent from one person to another person is known as communication.
Very correct.
Also, American Management Association said that exchange of thought from one person to another person is known as communication. Like this way, communication is also known as life of blood. So there are 8 objectives of communication: information, order of instructions, education, training, advice, persuasion, suggestion, warning, and motivation. One of them is information. So information means what? Impact of knowledge from one person to another or organization.
Yes.
So there are various methods of information. So by oral, written, by means languages, color, action, is known. From various methods we can transfer our information. So there are various methods from which we get information. So newly launched Chat GPT, then Google, Wikipedia.
These are some of the new methods.
Yes, Google, Wikipedia.
To get the information. Yes.
Information.
Yes. Very right. So very good time. Anything else?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, please.
Second objective is order and instruction. Then order is one of includes in official communication, which is also form of downward communication. Then orders may be oral or written. Oral order used in when there is if you want to do any urgent action, then there is oral order used. Then written order used when we have to maintain record.
Yes.
Then oral or written order used.
Yes.
The instructions are not are also one of the type of kind of
Objectives.
order. Then order instructions used when smart management.
So what is the, you should explain the difference between order and instruction.
Order and instruction.
That is more important.
Yes.
Okay. Nupur, do you want to say something?
Yes, sir. About education and training. So education and training is of 3 types: education to the employees, education to the management, and
Yes.
education to the outside people.
Correct.
In education to management is about updating the knowledge because new technologies are emerging and update knowledge about it is very important. Then the newly joined employees need the information about the company. Therefore, the training is given to those
Very
employees. Then coming to the people, the information about the different topics is given to the people outside, and this comes under the education and training.
Very right. Manas?
Sir, for that objective is advice. Advice can be easily given in a horizontal communication by
Yes.
a highly professional person to their juniors.
Yes.
It is honor to ask the advice,
Yes.
and it is also a great responsibility Using of advice, you can make your right decisions and make your right path, choose your right path of your life.
Yes.
Further objective is persuasion.
Mhm.
Persuasion is a manner of communication to pursue someone or to make convince
To convince someone.
to convince someone.
Yes.
Persuasion is very helpful to when you have influence to sold product or your sold to service.
Yes.
It is must need to persuasion.
Very right.
So next objective is about solution. So solution is a main message or plan
Mhm.
forward for consequences.
Okay.
Solutions can boost the morale of employee.
Uh-huh.
It does not have any bound like vertical or higher authority.
Yes, yes.
Solution is like advice can be given from higher expert or authorities,
Mhm.
and but solution can be given by any level authorities.
Yes.
And next objective is about warning. One should warn about the wrong behavior. Someone is disturbing the environment or making wrong things, then one should aware about the behavior
Yes.
and warn.
So very right. Whenever you will explain advice, suggestion should be there. Okay, so suggest what is the difference between suggestion and advice? That you have to explain. Okay, so to explain it very clear. So thank you friends, thank you for attending the session. I hope you have understood it well. So let's have a taste on the same. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a taste. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.